Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a Canadian story about gun violence and a family torn apart by what unfolded in their home last night. A 12-year-old boy is accused of shooting and killing his 16-year-old brother. Police say the boys were alone in the house at the time. At first, there were reports it was an accident, but after hours of questioning by the police, the boy's distraught mother at his side, he was charged with manslaughter. Our report tonight from Mike Armstrong.
No, they brought him out the front door.
From his front room, Andrew Carruthers watched last night as ambulance technicians tried to save the life of his 16-year-old neighbor.
Them giving him CPR.
Carruthers was also watching as the teen's mother arrived.
She started obviously hysterically crying, and she felt she looked like she was starting to collapse almost, you know, and so her friend was holding her, hugging her.
911 was called at 5:45 last evening. First responders found the 16-year-old boy with one injury, a bullet wound to the head. Also in the home, the boy who called police, the teen's 12-year-old brother. The injured boy was taken to this local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The younger boy was taken into custody by police.
Like straight-faced, you know, it was almost like he was in a daze.
Now, the boy, who can't be identified, appeared in youth court this afternoon. His parents are divorced, but both were present. The mother sat close to the prisoner's docket. The father sat on the other side of the room as his son's two charges were read.
Manslaughter by the use of a firearm, the first accusation. The other accusation is possession of a loaded, prohibited weapon.
Now, according to sources, that weapon was a pistol, but what no one's saying right now is where it came from. The theory at first was that the boys found a weapon, possibly their mother's, and were playing with it. Well, prosecutors seem to be pitting more responsibility on the 12-year-old.
Obviously, because he's charged with manslaughter, it's not an accident. The evidence doesn't show it's an accident.
Now, the neighborhood today is in complete shock. Each person around the family's home says the boys were polite, outgoing, and helpful.
Even my neighbors and that, we just cannot believe that there was a gun in that house. Like, they're not that type of people. Like, you know what I mean? The mother was so nice.
The parents in court this afternoon appeared how you would likely expect them, about as emotionally shaken as possible. Their son, on the other hand, appeared almost emotionless, not as though he was standing in the prisoner's docket facing incredibly serious charges. If found guilty, he faces up to 3 years detention. He cannot be charged as an adult because he's not yet 14 years old. He remains in custody tonight. There will be a bail hearing this coming Friday. Donna?
All right, Mike Armstrong in Montreal. Thank you, Mike.